Hello everyone and welcome to the second generation of a refined, well-equipped and a tasteful looking Opel Mokka. So in today's video, let's find out how this car fares against its rivals in the subcompact SUV segment. But before we move forward, please consider subscribing to the channel by clicking that subscription button, that red one, and make sure to press the bell icon which is next to it and leave all the notifications on, so that way you will never miss any video updates from my channel. Go ahead, press it. Go. Do it. So this new Opel Mokka is based on the CMP platform, which is also offered on the Peugeot 2008 and also the Citroen C4. So it shares a lot of elements, in fact, with the two cars that I've mentioned. I'm going to be coming to that as well. So ever since the Stellantis group has taken over, there are lots of parts which have been shared amongst the three brands, which is why the sharing of the different components. But on this, it's a completely different looking design compared to the first generation of the Mokka, because that used to be a little drab in terms of its approach, the design wise and the driving wise, everything. But everything has been, pretty much everything has been solved on this one. But let's start with the front. So you get this new seamless design out here, and on the first go you may think that it looks a little like the Volkswagen ID4. I don't know, let me know in the comment section below. It feels a little inspired from that. So you get this clean design out here, and instead of the grille you get this black plastic trim, the glossy one, and the black Opel logo out here with the headlights which are flushed around it. The actual grille is out here like a slim one. I don't know how this car manages the cooling functions, but yeah, it does that. Out here, black one normal, even at the bottom there is a big one, black normal plastic, and at the bottom of it there is a glossy black plastic splitters with the more plastic bits around the bumper. There are also these vents out here which are the real ones, so they channel air and funnel it in the back. When you come to these headlights, these are LED headlight cluster complete set. There are also DRLs on top, which also these DRLs convert into the turn signals, and the headlights themselves are pretty smart enough, so there are also cornering lights in them, and they would automatically adjust the beam and all of that stuff cleverly. So they are pretty clever that way. And at the bottom out here you will find two tiny fog lights which are given, and these fog lights are also the LED fog lights. And out here on the bonnet you would find this thick line in the middle and some more flowing lines around the bonnet. So this second gen Mokka has become slightly shorter, about 125 millimeters, but it has also become a little wider, so giving you more passenger space inside the car. Now when we continue on the sides, you get this 17-inch black color rims. So the particular model that I am reviewing is the Opel Mokka GS line, while there is an ultimate model. So in the ultimate one you get the 18-inch, on this one you get the 17-inch alloy rims in this black color and the Opel badging in the center. You get these side fenders in the plastic ones so that you don't damage your side fenders, the body colored ones. And at the bottom also again there is a bit of skirting plastic ones, normal plastic, and even in the back there is an arch in the plastic, black color normal. And when you come to the side mirrors, these are black colors, non-power foldable, no blind spot warning, but power adjustable mirrors. And there is also a side light inside it, indicator light, and the doors in the front too are smart keyless entry doors. And not just that, you can walk straight to the car and it would open up the doors, and when you walk away it would automatically close. So that's a pretty cool feature. And when you look at these doors, it reminds you of something like a Porsche Macan kind of, design out here, the smoothness to it, the front and the rears. I don't know, let me know in the comment section below. And you get a black colored top out here, like a half two-tone color combination. So there are 4 base color choice. So the green one, which is just absolutely amazing. There was another green color car which I have recently reviewed, which is the Audi RSQ3. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here, you can watch that in this exact nearly same color. And the color choices that you have on this one are red, silver, and there is also the green, and there's one more color. There are 4 color options. And not just that, the black one on the top, you can customize it to silver with the red stripe and whatnot color combinations that you can do. I'm going to put a few of them on this video as well. And there are also black color surrounds around these windows. The thing is, when you sit inside, the frames are a little recessed and it sits a little inside. So when you step inside, it's like you hit the side frames, when you're getting inside it. But yeah, that's the only thing which I found. But otherwise it looks a pretty fun little car, and also the overhangs have been reduced to make it a lot more sportier. Well, the rear is something which is what I really like on this Opel Mokka, because it looks pretty stylish. I mean, it's just about enough, not too many lines, not too many things going on. So yeah, I really like the rear end. Now when we continue out here, you get LED tail lights, complete set LED tail light cluster, even the turn signals and everything is LED. And yeah, the tail light itself, that looks pretty sleek and just completes the rear end. Out here, the Opel badging in the black. Again, one more neat touch which I like is this, everything is blacked out, all the logos and writings and everything, and the Mokka in the center. When you come to the visibility, it's actually all right. It's not going to be bad. There are some thick pillars, but yeah, whatever, you can manage it with the visibility part that way. There's also a small bit of spoiler out here in the black color. At the bottom, there is normal plastic bumper which you find, so that is just easier to replace if someone scratches across, which is what the some compact SUV for everyday use is all about. And at the bottom, you would notice two chromed exhaust tips. I don't know, I find it looks a little strange that way. It's in the back. I don't know. Again, let me know in the comment section below. I feel like if both the exhausts were equally distributed on both the sides, a single tip on both the sides would have looked rather nicer. But I think you get used to it when you keep looking at it again and again. At the bottom, there is also a fog light which has been given, center mounted ones, reflectors on both the sides. Now, when you come to the boot space, there's a button. You have to raise the tailgate, and in this setting, when the rear seats are folded upright, you can put 350 liters of luggage, and the boot space itself is pretty deep that way, so you can put quite a bit of stuff. You can put like one big suitcase and something small out here. At the bottom of this boot floor, you will also find a temporary spare wheel with the toolkit that has been given, and on both the sides you will find the tying points and all of that stuff. There's also this boot separator which also can be removed, very easy. Just untie these clips and then give it a tap, and then it also sits at the bottom. It consumes a little bit of boot space, but again, it's fine because you still get pretty deep enough boot space, so you can put your stuff out here. There are also scruff plates out here so that you don't damage your bumper, and these rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40. The levers are given out here, so when you press and fold them up, my bag is on the other side of the seat, which is why it's not folding. But when you fold these seats down, the rear seats, you can put 1105 liters of luggage, so which is pretty decent for a small crossover SUV. There is also a bit of a step, that's the only thing. If you want to put objects, you will have that step in between which you have to overcome and then put the luggage in there. And another bit is the closing of this tailgate. So it's a little hard that way, because if you just give it a little bit of punch, it wouldn't shut down, so you really have to give it a little bit of a force to close it. Now on the inside of this new Opel Mokka, things are quite alright in terms of the material quality. So let me start off with the dashboard. So you get plastic dashboard out here which is soft touch. This is also soft touch, but on the door cards on top it's hard plastic that has been given. On the sides is just soft touch, even on here, but at the bottom again it's soft touch where you're going to be resting hands. It's again soft. Out here it's lots of plastic, so lots of plastic has been used, that's for sure. There's this glove box, again full thing is plastic. Out here glossy plastic in the center console. Whole driver's display and infotainment screen that has been given, again black color glossy plastic. And then this carbon fiber trim which has been given, plastic trim out here on the dashboard, on the door cards on both the sides. So that looks kind of alright. It's just to give it a lot more sporty feeling. These seats are fabric seats. Now the thing is, the GS line and the Ultimate has a little bit of difference in terms of the material quality. Now I'm pretty sure this is a GS line, because the reason I say that, because on the GS line you get 7-inch driver's display and infotainment, but on this one it's 12-inch and 10-inch. So I'm assuming this is like an upgrade to that GS line, while the seats are also Alcantara on the Ultimate, while on this one it's the fabric seats. So I don't know, maybe this is an optional extra which has been provided on the GS line. But the thing is, like, everything is a lot more chunkier that way. Even the AC vents So two of them are here, and there is this big AC vent which is given underneath the infotainment controls and right about the air conditioning controls, a big one which has been given. So at night you may tend to just not notice because it's so dark out there. Sometimes you would miss that. And another air conditioning vent out here. So that's about the material quality and stuff in here which has been given. Now when you come to the driver's display, you get a 12-inch digital driver's display out here. As I said, on the GS line it's usually 7-inch. On this one it's the 12-inch. I'm guessing this is the ultimate one which you will get, and it's quite alright because the thing is, the layout of this screen is just the same, you can't change anything. And there is on the left side an RPM counter which is very tiny, small, and on the other side you get your temperatures and gauges and stuff. In the center there are 2 bits of information that you can change, and in the center on top there is a digital speedometer. So this pretty much remains like the same, but that 2 information on both the sides, on either sides, can be changed from this infotainment screen. So when you go into the set, then you go into the option, and then into that instrument panel personalization. Now this same system was also available in the Peugeot 508. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and you can watch the detailed review video of the Peugeot 508 GT, in which exactly very similar process has been given. And as I said, everything has been shared, and this is one of it which is also been shared on this one. So when you go there, you can change to, let's say I'll keep the navigation, and then on here I'll just keep the engine temperature and go in there, and it changes in the center. Not that I can't see the engine temperature already in there, but might as well see that. But that's about it. That's what you can change in here in terms of the appearance. And when you have the different settings where you are seeing your trip information, you can see different information like your current trip, trip 1, trip 2. That's about it. There is like a button given on the stick on the left side, so you can change that information. So it's pretty simple that way, but it's just that it's a little grainy that way, and yeah, it needs a little more refined screen. Because I get this, like every manufacturer is going into screens nowadays, and it's just that sometimes it's better to have the analog because it still gives you that pleasurable viewing experience instead of this grainy one. But I'm sure they will improve in the coming generation, because in the Peugeot it's really good. So I'm sure that will also lead down into this one as well. And when it comes to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel with a flat bottom. In the back you will find the paddle shifters which are given, plastic ones, but these are a little tiny ones, but you're not going to be using it. Most of the times you're just going to be cruising in automatic. And this steering wheel is also adjustable, which is your tilt and telescopic. You can find the right combination and set it. And on the right side you will find the controls for your infotainment and the communication and all the volume controls, while on the left side you will find the controls for your cruise control, which is standard cruise control, while on the ultimate version you get the adaptive cruise control and also the speed limiter which you get. And not just that, this steering wheel is pretty good that way in terms of the feel and overall driving experience when you're holding it. So yeah, good job with that. When you come to the air conditioning controls, straightforward button operated air conditioning controls, and also controls in the infotainment screen that you can change. And if you notice, the infotainment screen, the buttons and the air conditioning, everything is aligned very aggressively towards the driver, which is why you're not probably seeing anything what I am showing you, except for whatever rolls I'm putting it in between. So that's how you are able to see. But yeah, that's how aggressively they have pointed it towards the driver. The air conditioning controls are straightforward at the bottom, so you just turn the dial in the center and switch it on and off. Fan speed is also controlled by that, and then on one side you will find the control for your air conditioning. So there are 2 dials given, which would make you think that it's a dual zone air conditioning, but it's just that the passenger and the driver both have their own dials to set the same temperature, so you can set it from both the sides. And if you want to go into the infotainment screen and change it, then you can press the menu button which has been given on the dial itself. When you press that, you are led into the digital controls out here in the infotainment screen. You can adjust the fan speed, you can adjust the temperature, and then you can adjust the flow of air and the options where you can change the auto mode and everything. So that's pretty much about it in terms of the air conditioning control. Now when you come to this infotainment screen, this is a 10-inch infotainment screen which has been given on this Opel Mokka, and the controls are pretty straightforward out here. In fact, these controls are also similar to the Peugeot 508. The whole setup is pretty similar. You get button operated, straightforward. There is no menu that you have to search inside. All the buttons are given at the bottom with a volume dial in the center. So when I go into the first option, there is an audio option where you can see your connectivity and everything. Where you go inside, there is options, and then there is also the sources. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using Bluetooth. There's also USB option, and there's also wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay options that you can connect to this infotainment screen. Next up is your navigation system. So when you press the navigation button, you are led into the maps, which is given on this one. It's quite alright, although a little slow that way when you compare it. But anyways, you're going to be connecting the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and you will have Google Maps using that. You can use it, but if you're not, it's still decent enough. Good amount of detailed information that you will see on these maps. Then the next option is your phone. If you're connected to the phone, you can see all your contacts and everything. Then the settings option, in which you will find your audio settings, and you get 6-speaker music system on this Opel Mokka. Even on the ultimate version, you get the 6-speaker. It sounds decent. The next settings is your options, in which you will find your detailed settings like your system settings, which will let you change your units and everything, factory settings and all of that, language, then the set time and date. The next option is your screen configuration. You can change your screen configuration from your brightness and everything. Then the next option is your connectivity, which is your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, as I mentioned. Then the detailed vehicle settings, in which you will find your driving functions. So when you go in, you can see your vehicle check, your traction control, and all of those details. And then there is the vehicle settings. So all of that is how the whole infotainment screen functions. And the thing is, the whole thing is very well laid out, like your driver's display and the infotainment screen. It gives you like a seamless screen option out here when you see it. It's just that if it becomes a lot more crispier, then it will enhance the experience of using all these screens and interacting with it. Now when you come to the charging, you get one USB normal port which has been given underneath the air conditioning controls, and one 12-volt power socket. There is also one wireless charger which is pretty quick. The moment you put the phone, it just recognizes and starts charging it. And there are also 2 more normal USB ports which are given for the rear passenger. Now when you come to the storage, you can easily put like 1 to 1.5 liter worth of bottle in the door cards, in the door bins, and lots of bigger storage options which are given out here on this Mokka. Even though this is a subcompact tiny car, yet there are some more storage on the side also. There is also this center storage where the wireless charger is. You can put your phones and wallets. There are also these 2 cup holders, normal cup holders, not the flexible ones, and that one of it is shallow and the other one is a lot deeper. And this frankly very big glove box, in fact if I put my hand, I still can't reach the end of it. It's that big, like it's absolutely massive. It's actually the biggest glove box I've seen on any car. And there's also this center storage in which you can put like 2.5 liter worth of water. Tiny one it is, although the opening is pretty small, and it's also a slidable one, but it covers one of your cup holders. And that is pretty much it in the front storage. In the back, you can put like 1 to 1.5 liter again in both the door cards, and there's no center armrest, so you don't get 2 cup holders or anything for the rear passenger. Now on this Opel Mokka, you don't get a sunroof or anything out here, and I mean it's alright because I don't think people use sunroof that much. Let me know again in the comment section below, because I'm really wondering, do you really use a sunroof when it is given? Let me know. And there are also these say SOS option button which has been given, which is like an emergency option. So if you have any medical emergency, or the car has undergone a crash or something, you can press that SOS button and some help will be sent to your way. One more quirky feature which has been given on this Mokka is this gear lever. Now if you see, there is nothing out here. It's like a flat layout in the center tunnel. So the gear shifter is actually like a switch which has been given, but it's recessed and it's like way inside, and I find it a little weird and uncomfortable sometimes to change the gears, because you have to locate that where that switch is and then put your claws inside and then change it. And even the buttons which are for your park and manuals and all of that, it's pretty tiny that way. And next to that, there is also the drive mode button. So you get 3 driving modes on this Mokka, which is your sport, your normal, and also the eco mode. Now when you come to these seats, these are black color fabric seats which are given on this GS line of Mokka, while on the ultimate one you get the Alcantara seats. And these seats are really comfortable, and I like for the fact that these are fabric seats, because it's a summer day already now. It's already started becoming very hot. In fact, it's 42 right now, and the seats are absolutely cool that way because they don't heat up or anything, and then the moment you get in, your bottoms are not going to be toasted. So yeah, good for them as well. And then they are really comfortable, and they have this red stripe at the bottom and even the backrest as well, and then this huge headrest as well, and there is enough of support on the sides, at the bottom, and even in the backrest as well, so you sit quite well. And the thing is that the bottom of the seat feels a little flatter instead of giving you support underneath the thigh. That's the only thing which I found, and a little bit of lumbar support would have been nicer, or if you can just adjust. So on this Mocha you get completely manually adjustable driver and the passenger side seat. Now in the rear things may get a little cramped because yeah, the headspace is quite decent because this roof is curving. There's no sunroof that consumes any of it, so it's pretty decent. The headroom, the knee room, it's all right. Like you get about 3 fingers worth of knee room. Also these seats are curved, which is why you get that extra bit of knee space out here. But the rear seats are a little lower side, so which is why you can see the angle my legs are making. I'm sitting like a little on the downside, although there is also space underneath the seats when you can extend your legs, but it's not much that way. You can just kind of get it a little longer so you can relax yourself during the longer journeys, but that's about it. In the back you get the same fabric seats out here, but in the center there is a leather which has been given, the black one with the red stitching out here. So yeah, when I sit in the center it's kind of decent. Again, the middle passenger can easily sit in here, and there is definitely little wider the car has gotten, which is why people can sit on both the sides, and the middle person also can sit comfortably, although yeah, they have to be very, very supportive about sitting in the middle. And there is also no handrest which has been given, which is why there is no cup holder or anything. So if you have a passenger next to you, ask them to hold your coffee, or there's someone sitting in the middle, they can act as a handrest and hold your coffee. Yeah, that's one solution that I can think of. In the back, the usual door cards, plastic ones which you find out here. Again, the complete door card is actually plastic till the bottom, all of it, even on the other side. And there is also a small bit of tunnel out here, even though this is a front wheel drive car, but it's not that much that will hinder the passenger sitting in the middle. There are 2 USB ports, as I mentioned, and also there are no air conditioning vents which are given for the rear passenger, so that is something to note when you are checking this car out. And in terms of the space in the door cards, you can put about half a liter worth of bottle out here and on the other side, and that's about it. There are also 2 small pocket storage in the driver and the passenger seat, and I usually find something weird inside the media cars when I put my hand inside the pocket storage. So in today's pocket storage you find some coupons which are from Auto Pro, and lots of coupons inside which are given, and you get 3 headrests which are given out here, and you also sit a lot more upright that way instead of a little reclined and a relaxed position. So this 2022 Opel Mokka is powered by a tiny 1.2 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine that produces 130 horsepower and 230 Newton meters of torque. While the max power comes in at 5,500 RPM, the torque starts in at 1750. So it's a really the right band where you want the torque to be. So this engine is also clubbed to an 8-speed automatic gearbox which powers the front wheels. So this is a front wheel drive subcompact SUV. Now let me come to the engine and the gearbox. The thing with the engine is that it's very smooth when it's going and running around smoothly about 2000 RPM, but you come to a standstill, and let me show you that when it's just idling, it feels like it's just going to stall itself, and it does happen. And then when you want the power, it first stalls a little bit and then starts accelerating. Even when it's accelerating, it takes a little while to just start moving, but when it gets going, it's pretty decent, although it does feel a little stressed out sometimes when you want to accelerate hard. That's the only concern. And also you hear a bit of turbo noises also sometimes into the cabin, while the gearbox itself is pretty alright. I have no complaints. It just shifts very smoothly that way. So not a real problem in here at all. And when I put the car in the sport mode, let me put and show you, the thing is, it becomes, the throttle pedal becomes a little sensitive, and then now it holds the gears at higher RPMs, and also now you can hear a little more noise from that engine also. But that still, the stalling situation at lower RPM doesn't stop. That's the only concern. I sometimes felt like it's just stopped or something, but no, it was still alive, and then it starts shaking a little bit and then accelerates. But that's the only real concern. But otherwise, on the sport mode, I really like how responsive the engine gets. It's very smooth, and then I wonder how that 1.2 liter is doing all that, because the power and the torque band is very smooth. It's just that sometimes it can feel a bit clunky here and there. That's about it. But otherwise, very well that way on a day-to-day basis. Now, when you come to the suspensions, at lower speeds, it soaks the bumps very well, and not just that, at any speed it soaks the bumps, light bumps very well. But the moment hard bumps, bigger bumps or potholes comes in, you start feeling it through the chassis and also through the seats and everything. So yeah, suspensions that way, they can be a little tweaked to give you a comfortable ride. And not just that, it's also got a very top heavy car that way. This one is SUV. So let me do a slalom and show you. Like, yeah, you feel rather top heavy, and the toppling situation gets dramatic when I start doing this, although you are never going to do that. But I just want to show you that the suspensions, there is a bit of a roll also because of that, especially when you go into the corners and try to steer it, you start to feel that heaviness at the top. Now, when you come to the steering, it's a decent steering setup. I like how responsive it is, good amount of feedback from it, and you just turn the car and it just follows your commands very well. There is no complaint about it. Although I found the turning radius to be slightly bigger, it can be a little smaller because the wheelbase is quite short that way, and it's about a subcompact SUV which is smaller. So that can be reduced. This can become a lot more agile that way, especially maneuvering it around the parking spaces and stuff, or if you want to do a 3-point turn. But when you turn it and throw it into the corner, not bad. It does its job very well, very good. Now, when you come to the noise and the vibration, there is a bit of a air whooshing around from these windows, but that's about it. But otherwise, there is a brilliant job of keeping the exterior noise leaking into the cabin very well done. The soundproofing is very good. The only thing is that 1.2 liter engine that can become slightly noisy when it's stressed out. That is about it. But otherwise, very well done. Even the fit and the finish and all of that is very well done on this Opel Mokka. Now, when you come to the brakes, there are 4 disc brakes on this Mokka, and in order to show you the performance of these brakes, let me do a 100 to 0 emergency stop. There are emergency stop signals as well. They kick in immediately the moment you hard press that brake. The thing is, the brake pedal seems to have a little sponginess to it. Like when I'm pressing, it's a little erratic also, and I'm trying to find that balance of the brakes. So sometimes it grips very well, I feel that, but most of the times you have to put in a little more extra effort because the travel is that much, and there's a bit of a sponginess to it as well. Now, when you come to the overall fuel efficiency from this 1.2 liter engine, on a day-to-day basis, this engine will give you anywhere between 12 to 13 kilometers per liter. On a longer runs, I have gotten 12.5 kilometers per liter, and even 13, as you can even go up to 14. The claimed is around 17 kilometers per liter, and that's a pretty decent thing. And plus, it's got a 44 liter tank. So let me do some calculations, because the fuel prices in UAE have really shot up. So I'll give you a bit of a rough calculation. So if you do 44 liters into 13, which is your average, you get about 572 kilometers of range for this car, which is decent. Now, when I divide it by, if I want to find the per kilometer cost, so the fuel prices are 3.62 and the 13 kilometer average. So if I divide it by that much, I get 0.278. So I'll just round it off to 0.28. So that is the 0.28 is the number of fills that you will require per kilometer to drive this car, which, let's be honest, in today's world, it's a pretty bargain that way to run this car on an everyday long course, because some of the cars may even start touching 0.5 fills or even more, I think, per kilometer. I'm gonna start doing that more often with every car that I am testing to give you a rough estimate of how much it costs per kilometer to run these cars. So it's a decent engine, efficient engine that you get on this Opel Mokka that way. So worth considering. Now when you come to the safety systems, you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are also 2 curtain airbags. Apart from that, there is also ABS, there is EBD, there is emergency stop signal, there is also tire pressure monitoring system. There is also a single camera reversing system, and it works the same way as it was in the Peugeot. So you get that output from that is taken like a photo, and then it keeps, when you are reversing, it portrays that photo in front of you so that you get a rough estimate of your surroundings to give you a 360-degree camera out of that system, which is a decent attempt. But in between, if there is someone that jumps in, then they would go blinded that way in your range. So the best way is to do it manually by looking. Just have only the rear feed and then take that instead of having that 360. And in terms of the other safety systems, there is also front collision warning, the rear collision warning, there is also lane keep assist, and also there is a lane departure warning. There is also an additional pilot assist which you get in the Ultimate model, and not the pilot something, but it's also the auto park assist that you get in the Ultimate version. So that is pretty much it in terms of that. There is also this dead pedal which is a little raised up, which I forgot to mention. So every time that puts my left leg a little under stress sometimes when I am driving, or because the whole point of the dead pedal is to rest it. And not just that, even this gear lever which is inside this center tunnel, that gets a little hot when you start touching it after driving it for a longer time. It's usually the heat that gets soaked up, and then that toggle switch becomes a little hotter. Now when you come to the pricing of this Mokka, the GS line version starts at 106,900 dirhams, while the Ultimate models comes in at 116,900 dirhams. And to be honest, it's kind of alright for the second generation. There is great bit of improvement in terms of the styling, in terms of the dynamics, because as I mentioned, the first generation was below average in terms of that, but here there have been substantial improvements that have been done. And also the cockpit layout is pretty straightforward, although a little work on the practicality and also some more work on this engine stalling and all of that experience. If that can be improved, yes, this is a good enough choice. If you want to have a look, you can definitely think of it. And it's also got these new colors that you can opt in, which gives it a lot more presence on the road and a lot more appearance and its own character that ways. So I think if you want, you can go to the showrooms and check yourself this car and see how it feels and if it fits for you. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.